Happy 97th birthday to Louise Hay in the afterlife. You might remember Louise Hay as the founder of Hay House, the well-known metaphysical publishing house, but there's so much more to her than that. She inspired millions with her wisdom and her teaching, not the least of which was healing herself of the big C. She's also incredibly persistent, as I learned when thoughts of Louise repeatedly popped into my consciousness recently. I was intrigued, except the timing wasn't great. My plate was already full, so I pushed aside the intrusive thoughts. Finally, after 3 days of unrelenting nudges, I decided to stop and have a conversation with her. Much to my delight, she eagerly came forward with a lot to say. Apparently, she's been waiting to connect for quite some time. Now that she has, don't be surprised if she comes back around another time. And P.S., the day that I finally sat down and had the conversation with her was her 97th birthday. Gobsmacked. Hi, I'm Debbra Lupien, voice of the Akashic Records, with a special birthday message from Louise Hay. Louise, how do you see your teachings evolving in today's world with challenges like mental health awareness, social media, and new wellness science? How would you adapt or expand upon your core message? There's a bit of a misunderstanding in your question. The universal truths, self-love, love for humanity, and living in alignment with these principles never change. However, these truths are multi-layered. One can probe the depths to understand the multifaceted ways in which love can be expressed for the good of self and all of humanity. I encourage you to go within, find that small spark of self-love, nurture and support until it expands to encompass your entire being, becoming a shield in a world full of chaos. This love will shield and support you, expanding beyond your energy field, touching others effortlessly. Divine love flows from you effortlessly. It's simply who you are when you allow yourself to be the beloved, beautiful creation you were designed to be. The love of Creator has no limits. It flows unceasingly to all of creation. The only thing that can block it is you. Release false beliefs about what you ought, should, must, or have to do. Those expectations are a mixed box of confusion and misdirection, diluting your efforts to freely express divine love. Love permeates boundaries, barriers, and nefarious intentions. When you align with Creator and allow love to flow freely, there's nothing you can't accomplish. You are unstoppable. Be that unstoppable being. Let love flow and notice how it changes your perspective on yourself and the world. Irrepressible joy will emerge from the depths of your being to infect others. Imagine a world filled with irrepressible joy. Be a part of that change. What advice do you have for people who still struggle with negative self-talk, even after years of personal development? What could they do differently? Evolving out of the trap of negative self-talk. Simple. I've already given you the answer. Go deep. Find that inner flame of divine love. Nurture and allow it to grow, expand, and fill you. The recipe really is quite simple. It's you taking the time to do the inner work, believing and accepting the endless love that has been flowing from Creator since you were created. When you're filled with divine love, it will feel incongruent to speak negatively about yourself. For in the doing, you are contradicting your Creator. And why would you do that? When you slip into old patterns, retract those words the moment you notice. Apologize to yourself. Give yourself more love, grace, and acceptance. This practice will soon become second nature. You'll find yourself naturally thinking and speaking kindly to yourself and others. For they too are divine beings, deserving of grace and acceptance. Given the rise of meditation apps and digital tools for mental well-being, what role do you think technology can play in self-healing and self-awareness? I think it's a fine use of technology. Making self-healing and self-awareness tools readily available to a wider audience is a wonderful advancement. However, I would point out that simply using the tools, going through the motions, isn't enough. You can absorb all the self-help guidance in the world, but until you actively step toward feeling better, doing the work, the abundance, satisfaction, and joy that is yours for the taking will remain blocked. There's nothing you can't have, do, or be should you wish it, and take positive steps towards accepting what is already yours. You only need to reach up and pluck that ripe peach from the tree. Dismiss the false belief that doing so robs others of the experience. Remember, your Creator is unlimited. Blessings flow to you freely, without limit. All you need to do is reach out and take them like that ripe peach. When you grab the peach, you're in alignment with the flow of the universe, making space for more abundance. Should you leave it there, waiting for the perfect day and time, or because you feel undeserving, you manifest the energy of lack. Is that what you really want? Live your life with joy, gusto, and exuberance, taking what you want and need. Be in a state of gratitude, knowing that whatever you take will quickly be replaced. Now, having said that, let's reflect upon the concept of taking. Taking from a position of greed, avarice, or selfishness is not what we're discussing here. That attitude brings its own karma, and not positive, I might add. Rather, we're discussing offerings from the universe, blessings, gifts, love. When you accept and rejoice in gratitude, using the gifts for your highest and best interests, that allows Creator to bless you and share abundant love. I understand receiving is challenging for the givers of the world. Old programming, which labels that selfish, is a despicable lie. Time to rewrite that code. Time to accept gifts from your divine Creator or others with gratitude in your heart and joy that leads to expansion and having even more to give. Do you see how those things all work together? Allowing balance between giving and receiving creates your most expansive experience. A balanced life is a good life. In your books, you emphasized positivity, but how ought people deal with heavy negative emotions without spiritual bypassing? Many people misunderstand positivity thinking. They believe maintaining positivity despite challenges is tantamount to ignoring reality. Were you to use positivity in that way, they would be correct. However, positivity thinking requires working through the challenge, acknowledging the negative while spinning it into a positive story for your benefit. Let us take something simple, like life and death. When a loved one dies, your reaction can be devastation. You may put your life on hold, thinking because they're gone, it's wrong to feel joy. That is totally wrong and definitely not in your best interests, nor in the departed's best interests. Keeping them entangled with a negative energy cord is a common but unfortunate reaction. The departed are drawn to you when you think of them. In fact, they're honored to be remembered. Rather than mourning, you can choose to celebrate that they were in your life. Reflect upon treasured memories. Feel the joy as you reminisce. That is how you flip the script into positivity thinking. You can look at an old mirror and focus mournfully on the little de-silvered spots, like your departed loved one. Or you can look at the entire mirror to see the beauty that remains. Souls come and go in their own divine timing, which has nothing to do with you. Focus on your journey and the big picture of living your purpose. Now, back to the example of life and death. Yes, it's normal to feel sad when a loved one departs. You can lean into sadness, putting your life on hold, or you can shift into positivity thinking, treasuring your memories, allowing them to lift and sustain you. Your loved one has simply stepped to the other side of the veil, and that veil is thinning. You can learn to connect with the departed, or employ the services of someone else to connect. You have so many options that do not include dissolving into grief. Shift your focus to the reasons you're here rather than depriving yourself of joy out of some misguided sense of loyalty to the departed. That is not what they want from you. If you were starting Hay House today, what new areas of personal growth would you explore? The core message of Hay House, love of self and creator, has always been and will always be the foundation. What would change is perhaps the format. I'd focus on more in-person events, more human contact so that love is palpable. That's something that was diminished during the pandemic and is primed for expansion. The virtual meetings were and are a reasonable compromise, but nothing replaces the power of in-person connection. That's what I would change about Hay House in the present. The messages themselves are continuing to evolve because those bringing the messages are continuing to evolve, which delights me to no end. When someone is on their spiritual path, they're constantly beckoned to move forward, going deeper in their exploration, probing new layers of understanding of self and the world, finding new ways to express core truths. Revelations abound. Because each person hears through their own filters, it's important to have many and varied voices, all sharing the same message, but in their own vernacular. In your journey, what was the single most transformative experience that deeply shifted your understanding of self-love? You've shared a lot about healing your past. Was there a personal turning point in your evolution with regard to self-love? Around age 68, I got tired of being sick and tired. What I'd been doing wasn't working anymore. It was good for a while, but I hit the wall, and I knew there was more. I didn't know how much more. I just knew I wanted to find out. So I surrendered, got on my knees, and cried out to Creator, show me the path that leads to the paradise I believe my life could be, to the paradise that I desire for myself and for others. When I finally humbled myself, surrendered, and asked for help, it came in droves. Connections with movers and shakers, new insights, new magical experiences. Life got a whole lot more interesting and exciting than it had been just previously. It took me being willing to put aside my ego about everything I had learned and thought I knew to ask for help. Surrendering to the truth that maybe I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. When I surrendered, the angels gathered round, lifting me up so I could see over those trees in the forest I'd not been able to see past before. I now clearly recognized the root of the problem was trying too hard, which became a struggle. Struggle led to resistance, and that blocked my flow. There was a level of self-criticism remaining, which was now ready to be rooted out. With new insight, I doubled down on meditation, opening myself further to divine wisdom and guidance without limitation. I confess, a small part of me had been afraid of giving over complete control, but now I was motivated. I was ready. I surrendered in faith and trust that there was more, and this was my path to finding what my more looked and felt like. My team did not disappoint. Change didn't happen all at once. Instead, it revealed itself bit by bit, enabling me to make subtle shifts to keep up with where my enthusiastic soul was dragging me. Of course, ego complained mightily. Ego doesn't appreciate having its apple cart overturned. But soul, my dear soul, she was ready for more, and she wouldn't take no for an answer. So off we went, jubilantly, and that was when the real fun began. The contrast between being in flow and not is stark, like trying to pull a team of water buffalo out of a mucky swamp versus skiing on beautifully smooth, calm waters. With the former, you're stressing, straining, sweating, giving it all, and getting little for your efforts. Because the truth is, you can't do it alone. When you surrender, inviting your divine team to assist, you open the door to exciting transformation. In flow, life feels delightful, wonderful, smooth, warm, and beautiful. Certainly there are still challenges. It is life after all. But the contrast is stark. I highly recommend giving yourself the gift of surrendering. letting your soul and team guide you on the most incredible journey beyond your wildest expectations. Oh, so sweet and wonderful. What counsel would you offer someone with deeply embedded trauma, making it hard to embrace change? I would explain to them that is a choice. They can choose to hold on to their old story if it's really working for them. However, I would ask them to consider that maybe their old story is no longer true. Maybe it was never true. Or maybe they're simply tired of being defined by it and are ready to write a new story. Whatever the case may be, the choice is theirs, and it is a choice. They need to be ready to shift into living a purposeful life of joy, ease, and flow, a choice which is available to anyone at any time. It takes the soul of an explorer, brave and ready to carve fresh paths, ready to try new experiences, places, people, and to risk making mistakes. Once they've crossed that threshold, the doors of opportunity fly open. There's not just one path either. There are many, a multitude, in fact. Choose the one that feels the most enticing. Try it out for a while. See how you like it. And if after a while it doesn't quite fit, choose another. You see, it's a mind shift. You need to get over sneaky limiting beliefs like, that's all there is, or this is what you deserve. Take the lid off the box you've been living in. Your brilliant soul does not belong in a box. Throw off the lid. Let the bright sunshine flow in, and the love of divine creator. Let it lift you out of the box and onto new paths. Be curious. Get excited. Allow yourself to become like a bold little child, unafraid of new experiences, excited to see what happens when you take a chance. Your angels are there to catch you should you fall, and that will happen occasionally. That's part of the learning process. So pick yourself up, dust yourself off, take the lesson and move on, never allowing yourself to return to the box again, for that is antithetical to the reason and purpose of incarnating. You deserve more, and it's yours for the taking, once you release your old stories and write some new ones. Don't hold on to old trauma like it's a precious gem. It's an infection that weakens you, causing you to think that you're less than you are. Know that whatever trauma you've experienced, whether physical, emotional, or both, it cannot touch your divine soul. Trauma only touches your physical body and your ego. Neither of those are the true you. The true you, the divine soul, is untouchable by earthly trauma. Now that you understand this truth, it's time to stop wallowing in old trauma. Let it go. Write a new story. Don't deprive yourself of the wonderful adventures awaiting when you take the lid off your box. Choose you and your bright future. That is what I would say to those people. How do you envision self-love being taught to school children? What practical steps can educators take to integrate mastering self-love into school curriculums? Before teaching self-love, a teacher must embody the principle. Since self-love emanates from within, the most effective teacher is one who has achieved personal mastery. Love flows as effortlessly as breathing. Through radiating self-awareness and self-acceptance, the teacher will inspire students, providing a useful, authentic model to follow. This model is deeply felt, seen, and recognized. Students will thrive when met with love and unconditional acceptance from their teacher. Lessons will flow as the children will have firsthand experience of the many positive outcomes that arise from being aligned with their soul, filled with gratitude and appreciation for their own divinity. Here I must add a caveat. When I refer to divinity and divine creator, I'm not referring to any particular religion. This is universal truth that transcends man-made religion. I'm speaking of divine creator, love, truth, and light, which you may choose to accept or not. I highly recommend you accept, because it will change your life in tremendous ways. This is the path to becoming a self-actualized soul, and that is worth the effort. So, summing up self love mastery, children benefit when self love behavior is role modeled. Then they need to embody it for themselves. Finally, they need to experiment with sharing love and acceptance amongst their peers, parents, and others. They need regular positive reinforcement and gentle correction when they fall out of alignment. Teaching self love should be as gentle as the caress of a feather. When self love is ingrained in the young, you'll be on your way to effortlessly transforming the world. Children are like millions of little seeds sown across the earth, destined to take root and yield abundant harvests. These harvests offer a feast of nourishment, wisdom, and enrichment for future generations. That outcome may unfold in the near future or take many years, depending on the choices made by the people of the planet. Do you think Western medicine and holistic healing will ever fully align? There's a growing interest in integrative medicine. How ought we balance modern practices with holistic approaches? When it comes to medicine, I think most would agree it behooves us to have more arrows in our quiver. Combining traditional medicine with holistic approaches is tantamount to adding more arrows to the quiver. In my opinion, it's incumbent upon practitioners to be open-minded to learning new ways of healing. Periodically reassessing the mission helps avoid becoming rigid. Allowing for flexibility, knowing if one method doesn't work, there are other options. Realigning their purpose and goals to heal rather than adhering to rigid protocols would serve practitioners and their patients. New discoveries happen all the time. Not every protocol works for every patient. People are individuals. Treat them as such. Listen to them. Help them find the most effective path to healing. Remove your ego from the equation. Reconnect with the reason you became a healer. To help people. Yes? How does it help when you rigidly cling to beliefs about what can and cannot be healed? Open yourself up to the truth and understanding that the body is an incredibly sophisticated organism designed to self-heal when given the right tools. A healer must employ wisdom, curiosity, and flexibility to find the best answer for the patient. Like most things, when you let go of egoic beliefs, stepping out of resistance into curiosity, you'll discover exciting alternative paths of inquiry, new methodologies, and more opportunities for healing. Let's be honest. Doesn't it feel bad when you have to tell a patient there's nothing more you can do for them? I challenge you. If you truly are a healer, that is never the correct answer. That's fact, not a judgment. Just because you don't know the answer for a particular patient does not mean there is no answer. There's always an answer, although finding it might challenge you to the very limits of your abilities and creativity. Don't be afraid to ask for help, whether corporeal or ethereal. Both would be splendid. Be an advocate for your patient. Help them find the answers they seek to live a full, satisfying life. You can be a trusted ally in their journey. Release ego and the rigid, close-minded approach that often personifies allopathic medicine. Instead, opt for flexibility, creativity, curiosity, and an indomitable spirit that refuses to give up. These are the tools that will sublimely serve your purpose, leading to sweet success as a healer. How do you feel about your legacy? I take a great deal of satisfaction from the work I performed while I was on earth. However, in spirit, there is no ego. So while it pleases me that my work carries on and helps others, that is not my focus. As a divine soul, my journey continues into more consciousness expansion, higher levels of understanding, and a deeper connection with divine. If my work inspires others to the same, that warms my heart and pleases me greatly. Beyond that, I'm excited about the direction humanity is moving. There's even more deeply satisfying creative work that lies ahead, blazing new trails, uncovering new, deeply meaningful truths, and not to be overlooked, permanently releasing limiting beliefs. Fly high and free, beautiful souls, as you leave your indelible mark upon the world. Blessings and appreciation until we meet again. Wasn't that amazing? We are so blessed that Louise has decided to step up and mentor us from the other side. With all the massive shifts and soul expansion, it's timely. So, my fellow lightworkers, what questions would you like to ask Louise? Please post them in the comments, and I'll ask her next time we talk, because she was pretty clear there will be a next. Before you go, please give a thumbs up for Louise and wish her a happy 97th birthday. And remember, October is Louise's birthday month. Until next time, bye.